as far as this game goes, I am so baffled by what Bill is doing right now in a way where like it's almost like a stubborn child. Like, what? I didn't what? I didn't do that. You can
You
write
don't know
that
what
if
to
you want.
believe. You honestly don't know
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're gonna break the thing. You can't do that.
When you hear like the comments from Jacoby Myers tonight about how, you know, it's tough to see, you know, Mac going through that. I don't know exactly what the quote was, but you guys heard it. That tells me that like the locker room is like, what the hell's going on? Right? If they're not on the same page as Bill or as the quarterbacks are, and they're starting to question the, you know, some of the decisions, in-game decision making, we already know, or we already heard that, you know, Mac's got some, reportedly he's not a huge fan of the play calling, right? Isn't that one of the hot rumors that's going around? We're certainly not going to be a fan of it tonight, if that's the case. I can't figure out. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's part of the plan. It was part of the plan." Can somebody tell me the plan? This seems like a Nathan Fielder sketch where he's like, "The plan: alienate your first quarterback and realize that your second quarterback sucks, and then have no quarterbacks for the rest of the season." Like, it honestly feels.
Let's see if we can go from 2 quarterbacks to no quarterbacks.
Yeah. The plan: ruin 2 quarterbacks. Like, what's the plan? Like, what is this? It's so weird. And don't get me wrong, I was just as fired up as everybody else.
Everyone's like, "What's Jimmy on here?" It's a mess. This is no less. Jimmy being on here is no less confusing than what's going on with the Patriots quarterback situation.
Right.
Did you guys know Jimmy was going to be on the show tonight? I did. I didn't tell anybody.
Plan.
It was the plan. The plan was for Taylor's mic to be bad, but not really that. I was going to bench him no matter what. Okay, it wasn't for Taylor. Didn't get benched for performance issues. This was the plan. Jimmy was coming on.
And Bobby's going to be interviewed and be like, "Yeah, that was kind of tough for Taylor. I don't really know what happened there."
That was the plan.
I don't know.
This is a mess. What's so funny is like this should be for like a guy like me or like the stuff, you know, like this should be, oh my God, you know, just pig and shit. Like I can't believe, but I'm so shocked that it's happening. I don't even know how to process it. I can't. The only thing you'd think he wouldn't do is what he did, which is he's not going to bring in Mac and then bench him right away. That would be a disaster, right? You know, even people who thought that was possible thought if Mac comes back, he gets benched, it'll be weeks and weeks of playing bad. And they've seen something they don't like. 3 series?
That's the thing, and it's like 3 short series, so we're not even talking like that many snaps here, right? I mean, this wasn't enough to really know what Mac's capable of doing right now, health wise. You know, this is why I can't figure out what his reasoning is for any of this. I mean, it would have made more sense to me to start Zappe against a bad Bears team, assume that you can get some sort of a lead, like a big enough lead where maybe you say, let's throw Mac out there for a few series in the fourth quarter. We just wanted to see how he felt, getting some game reps, and go from there. I don't know why you would have reversed the two. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me from like a health standpoint, from a confidence standpoint. None of those things add up. So again, I just can't figure out why that was the decision that was made. The worst part is we'll never get an answer, right? We'll never, ever find out what was the plan and why.
No, this is a Malcolm Butler thing. You know, file it away. We'll never know.
But if you think there was any smoke, or if you think there's any fire to smoke of, you know, Max at odds with the coaching staff, there's definitely you can definitely start to dot some, you know, connect some dots here and wonder, you know, if you have like any conspiracy theories, wonder if Bill wanted to, you know, all right, Mac, you know, you think you have all the answers, you think you're ready to play, go ahead. All right, go on out there. You know, I don't know if there's anything to that. I don't know why you would. I don't know who that benefits. Certainly doesn't benefit anybody, but if they are at odds, certainly this wouldn't have helped the situation. You kind of embarrassed Mac. I'll be honest, the fans, tough look for the fans, I think, at Gillette tonight too. I mean, I don't know if anybody at the game is watching the show, but you talk about alienating a guy, a quarterback that, you know, second-year guy, somebody that you thought you might want to be building around. I don't know how you go out there screaming Zappe, Zappe, Zappe from pretty much the start. I mean, what's that going to do to a guy?
Well, that's a mess, and I don't think anybody cares, and that's the problem. That's what I said this with Taylor earlier. I don't think it's a Mac versus Zappe thing. I think it's a Mac thing.
Mac versus Mac, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's just Mac. They've seen enough of Mac to think, I don't think this dude's it. And that's my feeling too, is nothing about what Mac, don't tell me successful rookie year, and blah, 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 blah. It's all about ceiling. Where can this guy take you? Okay. You have the best quarterback, one of the best people who's ever played a sport before, and that's the bar. The bar is Tom freaking Brady. So anybody coming in doesn't have to beat Tom Brady. He has to just make you think that, like, okay, we've got our guy, and I can go to bat. I'm going to battle with this guy for the next 10 years, and let's see what we can do. You just had to feel good, like, all right, we got ours. Okay, those guys, they got their Burrow, they got Herbert, they got this, they got that. Those guys are good. We got our guy. He's good in different ways. We'll try to put the rest of the pieces together and see what we can do. We're ready to go. We got quarterback settled. I don't think people are certain that they've got quarterback settled anymore, because Mac hasn't done anything to make you feel great. He's done enough to make you feel like, he's all right.
He hasn't done enough to make you feel like he's going to be an elite tier 1 quarterback. No. But is he good enough to build a good roster and a good team around with a good coaching staff? I think so, but they're not there right now. That's the other problem. Yeah. Because of the way things have gone over the last few years with drafting and with the turnover, roster, spending money on players like, Henry and Smith and these other guys that are just eating away at their roster cap. Like you've said it a million times, John. You have a quarterback on a cheap deal. You're never going to have this situation.
You should be
rarely
loaded.
You should be loaded. You should be loaded around this guy. We haven't even talked about the defense tonight. That's probably the real concern after tonight, is that the Bears just walked all over you.
Well, it's twofold. And this is the problem with the team. And this is every single problem you've seen with this team. Why does this seem familiar? Is because this is what happens. And this is who these guys have been since the late stages of Brady, pretty much. All the way back to 2019, they ripped off all those wins to start that season. Everything looked good. Then things started to really crater in the second half of that year, in his final year here. And then you've got Cam, you got Mac, year one, you've got now. The Patriots, it's twofold. They haven't had a defense able to really just shut people down and stop people on a consistent basis. Right. Going back to 2019, and again, they rattled off, I forget how many wins to start the season, and made everybody think that was a better team than it actually was. After tonight's loss, the Patriots are 2-17 when the other team scores 24 points or more, which means you cannot get into, forget shootouts. If a team scores what's close to like NFL average points against you, just a tick above, game over, you've lost. Okay, Patriots can only their offense cannot muster enough points to stay. Forget a track meet. You can't stay with a team when they score 24 points. That's ball game for you, which means everything about that's to show you how bad the offense is. They're a front running offense. They have to get an early lead, make the other team one dimensional, capitalize on their mistakes, get some turnovers, which lead to more points for them. And that's how they build up their stuff. That's the only way that they can win. But if they play even, the defense isn't playing great, they're not turning the ball over, the other team starts to move the ball and score, lights out. They don't have a good enough offense to be able to put up the points to keep up there, and they don't really have a good enough defense to shut teams down. The Bears ran for 7,000 yards tonight. Was that the final number?
It was just under 7,000.
Just under 7,000.